Quiet seasons feel like rejection, like you don't matter, like nobody sees you anymore. But what if it's not abandonment? What if it's protection? If you're in a quiet season right now, comment protection. No story, just the word. Because sometimes God doesn't remove the silence. He uses it. You know the feeling. Your phone is quieter. The messages slow down. The invitations fade. The people who used to check on you suddenly don't. And you start asking the question every quiet person asks. Did I do something wrong? Here's the first truth. Being overlooked by people is not the same as being abandoned by God. Sometimes the quiet season comes because life is changing. But sometimes it comes because God is separating you from noise that was draining your soul. Quiet seasons hurt because they expose what you depended on. If your peace depended on being noticed, the world controlled you. If your worth depended on being included, people owned you. And God loves you too much to let your identity be managed by other people's attention. That's why quiet seasons can feel brutal. Not because God hates you, but because the false supports are falling away. Let me say it clearly. Some doors don't close to punish you. They close to save you. Think about it. Some people only remember you when they need you. They love your calm because it makes you easy to use. They love your silence because it doesn't challenge them. They love your kindness because it costs them nothing. And when you stop overgiving, the relationship feels quiet. But that quiet is information. It's a test that reveals motives. Here are 3 signs your quiet season may be protection. First, you're being detached from being useful. You start noticing patterns you ignored. You see who only calls when they want something. You see who disappears when you need something. That clarity is painful, but it's also mercy. Second, you're being trained to hear your own soul again. When you're always surrounded by noise, you can't hear what you really feel. You keep performing fine. But in quiet seasons, the mask gets heavier. You start admitting the truth. I'm tired. I'm lonely. I've been carrying too much. That honesty is the beginning of healing. Third, you're being protected from the wrong direction. Sometimes you were chasing a door God never told you to enter. You were knocking, begging, explaining, proving yourself, trying to be understood by people who were never meant to feed you. Then God allows distance. Not to break you, but to stop you from shrinking yourself, just to be accepted. So what do you do when you're in that season? You do not panic. You do not chase. You do not beg for crumbs of attention from tables that starve you. Instead, you do 3 simple things. Step 1, a 10-second prayer. You don't need a performance. 1 sentence is enough. God, show me what this season is protecting me from. Then pause it. Let the silence be a conversation, not a punishment. Step 2, the 3-line journal. Write what happened, what it revealed, what I need now. This isn't to blame people. It's to name reality. Unnamed pain becomes heavier. Named pain becomes something you can carry to God with clarity. Step 3, 1 boundary sentence. Quiet people often confuse peace with permission. But being gentle doesn't mean being available to everyone. Choose 1 sentence and practice it. I can't do that today. I need space. That hurt me. Not available. You don't have to become loud to be free. You just have to stop abandoning yourself to keep peace. Now, let's balance this with wisdom. Not every quiet season is spiritual. Sometimes you need real community. Sometimes you need a counselor. Sometimes you need rest. God works through people too. Seeking help is not a lack of faith. It's maturity. But here is the comfort for the quiet ones. God sees you in the unseen place. He sees the night you held back tears so you wouldn't worry anyone. He sees the kindness you gave when your own heart needed comfort. He sees the patience nobody thanked you for. He sees the prayers that never became sentences. And if you feel invisible, remember this. The roots grow in the dark. A tree doesn't build strength in the spotlight. It builds strength underground, where nobody claps. Quiet seasons are where God builds depth, discernment, and stability that can't be stolen by public opinion. So don't mistake the silence for rejection. Don't mistake people's blindness for God's absence. Don't mistake less attention for less value. You may be quiet, but you are not ignored. If this message hits you, comment "not abandoned" and share it with someone who is smiling in public but breaking in private. Because sometimes the people God is preparing most deeply are the ones the world notices last. Maybe you're thinking, But why would God protect me by making me feel alone? Because noise can hide danger. When you are always surrounded, you can ignore red flags. You can keep excusing disrespect. You can keep calling it love when it's really convenience. Quiet pulls the curtain back. Look at Joseph. Before a palace, there was a pit. Before leadership, there was isolation. God didn't abandon him in the quiet. God formed him there. Look at Elijah. He wasn't corrected in a crowd. He was met under a tree, exhausted, and God didn't shame him. God fed him, let him rest, and then spoke in a gentle whisper. That whisper matters. God is not always loud, but he's always present. Even Jesus had quiet seasons. He withdrew to lonely places to pray. Not because he was weak, but because he refused to let the crowd define him. If the Son of God needed quiet to stay aligned, why would you think your quiet season is a sign you're failing? Here's another sign: it's protection. Your appetite changes. You stop craving constant validation. You start craving peace. You start choosing fewer relationships, but healthier ones. You start realizing that being needed is not the same as being loved. And you begin to see a hard truth. Some people only call your boundaries cold because they were benefiting from your lack of them. In a quiet season, God often replaces two things. He replaces chasing with discernment, and he replaces people-pleasing with self-respect. So when you feel the urge to chase, do this. Stop and ask, what am I afraid will happen if I don't? Many times the answer is, I'm afraid I'll be forgotten. But you cannot build a life on fear. You build it on truth. And the truth is, the right people won't require you to betray yourself to keep them. One more practical step. Bless and release. Not in a fake, bitter way. In a clean way. Pray. God, I release what I cannot control. If this connection is for me, align it. If it is not, remove it without chaos. That prayer is powerful because it stops you from wrestling humans when the real battle is attachment. And when the quiet feels heavy, remember, protection doesn't always feel like comfort at first. Sometimes protection feels like distance. Sometimes it feels like disappointment. Sometimes it feels like being pulled back when you wanted to run forward. But later, you look back and realize, God saved you from a version of life that would have slowly destroyed you. So breathe, slow down, let the quiet do its work. Let God rebuild your roots. Then, when the right season comes, you won't need to beg for a place at someone's table. You'll walk in as someone who already knows they are loved. Here with God. And if the silence still feels heavy tonight, don't rush out of it. Stay gentle, stay honest, stay close to God. He is still forming something in you.